My name is Vincent Chevalier and I'm from Montreal, Quebec. I'm an artist and I'm here at Kafka doing the red carpet walk. I'm going to be walking on the red carpet for about 10 days as part of Kafka. The red carpet walk was an idea that I had to talk about celebrity and labor in a way that was sort of funny. So the red carpet is a symbol of privilege, and I was really interested in examining how privilege is performed. We often see celebrities walking the red carpet, but we never see the people who lay down the red carpet. So celebrities are celebrities because there's a lot of work put in to make them look like celebrities. So I wanted to take the gesture of celebrity and the labor that's put into it and collapse it into one thing. And so the carpet is a symbol of that, labor and celebrity. So I walk around the city, walking the red carpet, and in doing that, I become the product and the producer of my own fame. So I walk down the street and people look at me and call me Red Carpet Man or talk to me or take my picture. They don't ask for my autograph yet, but I'm going to become known in Kitchener as that guy that walks around on the red carpet all the time. I'm not so much interested in fame, but I'm more interested in what fame gives people, which is privilege. I think some of us have more privilege than other people, and I think that's the thing that I see as a problem. I think that it creates a lot of inequality, and so I think that this gesture is a little bit about trying to make that obvious, that there's an inequality between labor and celebrity. A lot of people have asked me what I'm doing, and I just tell them really simply, well, I'm walking the red carpet. And they ask me why, and I say, well, what do you think of the red carpet? Who walks the red carpet? And they say usually celebrities. So I think for the most part, the people of Kitchener have gotten it. They understand what the red carpet is, and they understand what it means, and they see that I'm doing it. It takes up space in public, and I think that that's a really strong gesture. I think that we walk through life and don't always feel like we can take up space. Walking the red carpet is really taxing on my body. It's a repetitive gesture. I do it every time I'm outside. I haven't quote unquote cheated, so even when I'm tired at the end of the day, I put the red carpet in front of me, take 2 steps, put it in front of me. So I've tried to prepare myself by just taking care of my body and stretching, but it's also a mental preparation that I need to engage in, to know that I have to get from point A to point B and that I have to do it in this way. So it's a lot of a mental sort of like zoning in on my goal. It's a very simple gesture. It's walk everywhere that I go on the red carpet for 10 days. And I think that because it's so simple, if I didn't commit myself to that, then it would be a meaningless gesture. And I don't really want to be doing a meaningless gesture for the next 10 days. For the most part, it's been a very positive experience. People, when they come up to me and ask me what I'm doing, usually they understand you're walking on the red carpet. I've had a little bit of hostile confrontation. I don't appreciate it, but I think that art in public is necessarily confrontational. And while I know that this is a gesture that takes up space, I also try to respect other people's space in doing it. But it is out of the ordinary, and that can be threatening to people, but it can also be engaging to people. By doing this gesture, I make myself very vulnerable. By doing this gesture, I make myself very visible. So normally I can pass through my everyday, walk down the street, no one's gonna bother me, no one's gonna stop me and confront me, call me a name, or threaten me. But because I make myself public in a very public way, in a very ostentatious way, I open myself up for confrontation. And I think that that's a good thing. And I try to deal with it. I try to keep safe. And I try to have people around me who know what I'm doing, who can intervene. But I also have to know that because I'm doing this in public, that I'm going to be engaging with the public. I don't think it's good to be threatened physically. Those are things that frighten me a bit about public space. I think it's a larger issue about how we live in public space and how we're allowed to live in public space, and people feel maybe that they don't have as much of a say in the public as they would like to, and so feel threatened when somebody is being very public. I don't want to be aggressive, but I also feel like it's important to be able to do these gestures. One thing that I think is really interesting about the piece, and it's an undercurrent, and it's not something that you'll see as a public directly. My work is about this thing that I call the process of disclosure. And while this work isn't necessarily about a disclosure, like a verbal disclosure, like say, I'm a queer person, I'm a homosexual, which I am, I'm disclosing to you right now. But the work shows how the work as a repetitive gesture that goes over and over and over through my everyday is an analog to the process of disclosure that I have to do in my everyday as like a queer man, constantly repeating that gesture over and over. So that's not obvious to the passerby on the street, but for me, it's the root of the gesture comes from that sort of process of disclosure, which is repetitive, relentless, exhausting, but also all these other things that I've talked about, which are confrontational, affirming, taking up space, which I think are all really important things for me as a queer person to do.